So she's a fast-rising act on the stand-up comedy scene in London with Jamaican roots. My guest now is comedian Kyrah Gray. Good morning, Kyrah. How are you?
Morning, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, it's good to have you. I'm just going to enjoy this interview for your accent alone because I could listen to your British accent forever, ever.
Oh, thank you.
So where do we find you this morning? Which part of the UK?
So I live in South London,
You're in South
Croydon.
London. Okay, and tell me about your Jamaican links.
So both parents British born, but my grandparents on both sides were all born in Jamaica. Came over to London, had their children. And my aunties and uncles all spent a significant amount of time in Jamaica as well. So it's very much kind of embedded in who I am as a
Yeah.
person, what I was in. Yeah,
Which
it's
which
a part of
which
who I
part
am.
of Jamaica are the grandparents from?
So my mum's side, my grandma is from St. Andrews. My dad's side, they're from St. Thomas and St. Elizabeth.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just all about really.
Do you frequent Jamaica? When was the last time you were here?
Not as frequent as I would like. It's so sad. I think the last time I went, I was 18.
Oh,
So
I want to
yeah, it's
ask you
really
how many years ago that was, but I don't want to give away your age because you know what I
no. So
mean?
I'm 24.
Okay.
So that was when I was in sixth form, which is really sad. It's quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. We brought my grandma back so she could visit where her parents had passed away. So that was the reason why we went that time.
Yeah.
So it was really important, a really important trip at the time. But
So
yeah.
tell me how embedded your Jamaican roots are in what you do now. I mean, are you one of those Jamaican, or one of those British families who, no eat on ackee and saltfish every day same way and you stay true to the traditions? And how deeply embedded is it?
Oh, incredibly, incredibly deep. Every day, I'm tired of seeing stew chicken on the table at this point. Honestly. I'm tired, but I wouldn't want it any other way. In terms of my comedy, my grandma is such a heavy influence in my life. Like a lot of my jokes are about her, just funny sayings that she told us when we were growing up. Just weird little things that I thought were normal, but when I talk to my other friends, they're like,
What? For example, I'm putting you on the spot. Give me one.
So, for example, my grandma, she used to like hit me to wake me up in the middle of the night if I was sleeping on my back because she said the devil would ride
Ah,
me. And I was just like, excuse me, right? Like, what could you mean by that? And when I used to come to her house and take off my shoes, she used to say that I can't take off my shoes and leave them side by side like that. I had to leave one this way because Duppy's gonna jump in the shoe and take my place. And I
Okay,
said,
wow,
right.
wow. I born and grow here. I've never heard that one. If you don't line
Yeah,
up your
see?
shoes opposite, Duppy go and take your shoes and take your
Yeah,
place?
take your place. He said, take your place. So we used to have to take off our shoes and side by side like this. I don't even know where she got that one.
Okay,
I
Kyrah,
don't
you
know.
sound like you need some counseling. You must be traumatized. You must have
Honestly,
Duppy and devil argument.
honestly.
My God.
But I'm covered in the blood of Jesus, so it's fine.
Hey, you are straight, yard. If you're gonna utter that statement, you belong right here. So how did you get into comedy?
So I started in university actually. So I studied drama, and in my last year, I had a module in stand-up comedy. So whilst I was doing it, my lecturer was just like, "This comes so naturally to you. Like you need to do this professionally." And I was like, "You know what? Let me give it a go because I've always loved stand-up. It's just not something that I ever thought I had the confidence to do." And then once I started doing it, I kind of just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It felt home, you know.
It's
And
gotta
it's
be the most scary thing ever to stand up in front of a group of people and hope that your jokes land. Have you ever had a situation where you bombed?
Do you know what's crazy? I've never bombed necessarily to that. Because when comedians bomb, that's when people are like, get off the stage, boo, boo. And it's just been absolute silence. I've never, God forbid, don't want to jinx it, but I've never had an experience like that. But I have had shows where there's been a disconnect there with the audience
Yeah.
and they're more silent than I would have liked them to be. But yeah, thanks. I've
And
never bombed.
And is that in the material and in the cultural differences and disparities? So how do you ensure that while you infuse the bit of your culture, that you keep it mainstream enough for all audiences?
I think it's the way you tell the story. You have to tell it in a way where people feel like they're learning from you, and everyone feels like they know that person.
Right.
So
Relatable.
it has to be relatable content, because living in London, it's a diverse place. So even if I'm doing a show where the crowd is predominantly Caucasian, or if it's predominantly West African crowd, everyone knows that guy that I'm talking about. Everyone knows that woman I'm talking about. We've all met that person. So I think the key thing is just making people feel like they're a part of the world you're creating on stage.
Yeah.
And that way you're able to draw them in.
Yeah. What's been the highlight of your career so far?
Highlight. I think it was performing at the O2 last year. That's definitely up there. That's definitely the
Tell us
highlight
about
so
that,
far.
for those of us who don't know what the O2 is.
So
Was that the British
O2
Black takeover? Black British takeover? Oh.
Yes, that's what it was. So basically the O2 is I think if it's not the biggest, it's one of the biggest music venues in London. And it holds 20,000 people. It's where a lot of artists come to their concerts. So Wizkid, Chris Brown recently just did it as well. Yeah. So Mo Gilligan, who is a Black British comic over here, he does his Black British takeovers where he holds shows and he puts up and coming or people that have been doing comedy for years. He just creates this amazing lineup, and we performed to 18,000 people, and it was just absolutely insane. It was an insane experience, and it was amazing. It's just crazy to even think that I've done it. So I'm super grateful for that opportunity, and that's definitely been one of the highlights of my career so far. Yeah.
Resume looking real good, Kyrah. That sounds really, really good. Yeah. So where to from here, lady? Where to from here? What's next?
At the moment, I'm working, just doing shows. I'm trying to get to the point where I can do my own tour.
Yeah.
I'm writing as well, a lot of writing. I'm trying to create my own scripts. I'm trying to just create my own little world as well. I'm just trying to see how far I can really take my career, and I've been super blessed and super grateful to have the opportunities that I've been given so far. And I just want to keep it going.
Yeah, we know you have a huge online presence. So for those of us who don't know where to find you, please direct us so we can go check you out.
Yes, so Instagram and TikTok, you can follow me at It's Kyrah Gray, and YouTube. I will be consistent very soon, but that's Kai TV. So feel free to follow.
Excellent performances from Comedy Central Live. She starred in Netflix's YouTube sketch "What Would You Do" with Harry Pinero, and done fantastic things. You can check her out in social media, where she just told us. Kyrah, all the best to you. We are so proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, lady.
Thank you so much. Honestly, this means so much to me, so thank you.
Oh, no problem. Our pleasure. That is it for our Diaspora Check-In for this week. Kyrah Gray, comedian in our Diaspora Check-In today.